now. On. Jai Jinendra Bachcho. So we'll start with Namokar mantra. Uh, any one of you would like to take lead today in reciting Namokar mantra? Meka, you want to go?
Okay.
Sure.
Namo Arihantanam, Namo Sitanam, Namo Ayariyanam, Namo Vajayanam, Namo Loesavesahunam. Eso Panch Namokaro, Save Papanashno, Manglanam Chisavesim, Padmam Have Mangalam.
Jai Jinan Bachcho. I'll give you a subtle difference, which I learned very late in life while reciting Namokar mantra. In particular, after expressing our obeisance to the Panch Parmeshti, we recite a small strange, which is the last one, right? Eso Pancha Namo Yaro, Sava Pava Panashno, Mangalanam Cha Savesim, Padamam Havai Mangalam. You both know that, right? Right? Mahika, of course, knows it because she recited it. So there is a slight subtlety there, but that's kind of people who know it, for them, it's kind of very interesting. Okay. So, you know how we say Eso Panchar Namo? What's the next word? Eso Panchar Namo. What is it? Mika.
Karo.
Karo,
Karo.
Namokaro.
Yes. Now, in the Digambar text, the actual word is Yaro. It's not Karo. So the if we follow the Digambar tradition, which we all do, the right way of saying it, first we say Namo. We don't say Namo. है ना? It's a hard N. ना? Not many English speaking folks can even say it. They have difficulty saying the hard N, which is na, right? So it's Namo. And second is we say Eso Panch Namo Yaro. Sava Pava Panashanau, which is the right Prakrit word for it, which is Yaro and not Karo. So just a subtle thing, that kind of makes it interesting. But, I learned it very late, like all through my childhood. I used to say Eso Panchanamo Karo. And then as I read through the text, as I got more exposed to, more thought, that's when I got to know that, in the Digambar text, it's actually Eso Panchanamo Yaro. So just keep that in mind. Not that it makes it any different, but, it could be a trivia thing, right? When you are talking to your cousins and folks in India, it could become a trivia thing, right? Hey, you ask them, because majority of Jains actually say Eso Panchanamo Karo. Reason being, wherever they have read it that way. Eso Panchanamo Karo. Like me, right? Growing up, it was there all over the place in calendars, in books and everywhere, right? Jinwani and everywhere. And it was always Eso Panchanamo Karo, right? So if you will say this fact to your folks, grandparents, cousins, or whatnot, guess who would look amazing, right? Right, Mika? Right? Especially for those kids your cousins who are in India, है So it's kind of interesting, I'm giving you something which is secret. How about that? Okay, Jai Jinen Rarush, thank you for joining. We are going to start with a very interesting topic. So who is going to tell? Okay, we learned about Tirthankar in the last class, correct? Right? And you remember I have told you about another trivia fact, like Tirthankars are born with, what is called as Atishayas, right? There are in total for a Tirthankar 34 Atishayas, but then 10 are those which they are born with. Like these are like extraordinary magical symbolism that a Tirthankar baby is born with, right? So that's what the Devs use to identify a baby, or a Jeev that is projected to be a Tirthankar, right? They are born with these 10 atishayas, right? Or magical symbolism. And remember, I had told out of them there are 10, but then one of them is very interesting, which is they are born with through their body. A Tirthankar baby has about 1008 symbols, right? One of them is what we call as the symbol of Bhagwan, right? The bull or the a padam, a lotus or a swastik on their the right toe of their right leg, or rather I should say the toe of their right leg. That's where this symbol appears. But important fact out there is this is not the only symbol. है ना? There are about 1008 symbols across their body, which is what differentiates a Tirthankar baby or Tirthankar born with other human beings. है ना? Other even magical human beings, other more powerful like Shalaka Purush. As per the Jain folklore, as per the Jain tradition, there are like 63 different types of superhuman beings who have contributed towards the upliftment of society, of which 24 are Tirthankars. है ना? And the main differentiating marks for them is these atishay that they are born with. Some like 10 are what they are born with, and then the other 24 they kind of get at different moments in their life. Now we know, right? In Tirthankar's life, there are these five very, very important kalyanaks or celebrations, right? We went through that video. I'm sure you would have gone through the same video a few times after we did it or before we covered it in the class, right? So these five kalyanaks are what identify, apart from these atishay, there are other symbolisms also, which is what are used to identify Tirthankar. You remember I also told you about on an idol of Bhagwan, of Tirthankar Bhagwan or Arihant Bhagwan, there is this flower or what is called as a Shrivats at the center of the heart, right? Where our heart is, the physical heart organ is located. And that symbol is called as Shrivats. The important thing there is this symbol is only depicted on idols of a Arihant Bhagwan or a Tirthankar, not on the idols of other Kevlis, like Bahubali Bhagwan. है ना? So if you go and look at the idol of Bahubali Bhagwan, which is present in very close to Bangalore in India, Shravan Belgol, that idol is because it's an idol of a Kevli Bhagwan. Bahubali Bhagwan was not a Tirthankar, but rather a Kevli. You don't see that flower there, right? So this is another important marker, right? Even from an archaeological point of view, right? There are so many episodes that happen in India. I'm sure your parents, grandparents talk about it, where some idol was found in somebody's house, like deep down buried, or in a farm, right? And when this idol is taken out, the first thing these people look for is, okay, whose idol this is, right? So first marker they look for is there a Shrivats, right? And they say, yes, there is a Shrivats. So it has to be of a Tirthankar Bhagwan. Now, which Tirthankar Bhagwan out of the 24? That's when the symbol of Bhagwan comes into the play, right? Which is at the pedestal, which is at the asan on which Bhagwan is either sitting or standing in Kayotsargavastha, right? So that symbol is one that comes out of their the Atishay they are born with, right? On the toe of the right leg. Okay? So that's how we identify Tirthankar. Now, today we are going to start. There are two videos that we'll cover. One is dedicated towards the symbols. What's the best way to remember symbol of all the 24 Bhagwans? Because again, like one, it's something that is required for you to identify a particular Tirthankar Bhagwan's Pratima and then do the puja accordingly. Right? The best practice is like, if you are in a math class, you would like to go in the class with math book, not as biology book, right? I mean, it's just general practice, right? It's a general discipline that we have to follow. Similarly, when you are in a temple in front of Shantinath Bhagwan's idol, the best thing is you should recite a puja that's dedicated to Shantinath Bhagwan. Now, Of course, we will not remember it. So that's where Jinwani books come into come to help, come to your rescue, right? You can go there, find a puja of Shantinath Bhagwan and recite it. Similarly, if you are in front of Mahavir Bhagwan's idol, it's best to dedicate an arghya that's arghya of Mahavir Bhagwan, and so forth, right? Now, there are situations when you will not remember it and find it, then obviously you can do a generalized arghya or 24 Bhagwan ka arghya, right? We do that all the time. It's not like it's hard and fast that you should do this, but that's where symbolism comes to help, right? First, for you to identify whose idol it is, because at times you will not find it written and not in English for sure. है ना? इंडिया के टेम्पल्स में तो इंग्लिश में नहीं लिखा होता है, यहाँ के टेम्पल्स में फिर भी यू विल फाइंड अर्घ्य रिटन इन इंग्लिश, बट इंडिया यू विल नॉट. सो हाउ वुड यू आइडेंटिफाई, right? So more than kids in India, I think it is very important for you to have a good awareness of these symbols. ठीक है ना? अब देखो कुछ symbols तो बहुत through your memory and continuous exposure to the same concepts will come to you, like Mahavir Bhagwan ka symbol. It's a lion. You'll hear about it every time. Like symbol of Rishabdev Bhagwan is a bull. We'll keep hearing about it every time. So many stories are there set around these symbols, right? But then there are other 22 Tirthankars, right? And their symbols are what are very difficult to sometimes, memorize. We'll start with that poem, and this will help you to at least gain awareness of this symbolism. And then I would request you to make a very honest effort to memorize this, because that will help you to know the symbols. And there, I know you all are pre-teen or teenagers. It may sound too late for you. It's never late, right? Learning about Jainism you are never late for that. You just have to make a very honest start. Okay? So let me share my screen now. Okay, share sound, one important check. Okay, and here it goes. Is it visible to you? Okay, I see Sarthak nodding. Great. Sarthak, keep your camera on. That way I know, you guys are there. And I will play.
Yeah, 1 second.
Sure, beta. Yeah, take your time. Okay, so let me play it now.
खेत वही लहलाता है.
It's a poetry. It's a poetry by a very famous poet of our times, as in current times. He's one of the greatest Hindi poets, very popular. I'll not say greatest, but surely he's the most popular poet at this time. So this poem, I think, is by him. And, we have used this poem to project upon the symbols of all the Tirthankar Bhagwans, the current Tirthankars, right? The current 24. Okay.
आदि प्रभु का बैल जो जोते, खेत वही लहलाता है. अजितनाथ का हाथी आए, प्रभु को शीश बिठाता है. आदि प्रभु का बैल जो जोते, खेत वही लहलाता है. अजितनाथ का हाथी आए, प्रभु को शीश बिठाता है. संभव जी का घोड़ा जब भी टक टक करके आता है, अभिनंदन जी का बंदर फिर खूब छलांग लगाता है. अभिनंदन जी का बंदर फिर खूब छलांग लगाता है. सुमतिनाथ का चकवा जब प्रभु के चरणों में आता है, पदम प्रभु के कमल पुष्प को नैनों में पा जाता है. पदम प्रभु के कमल पुष्प को नैनों में पा जाता है. सुपार्श प्रभु का सतिया जब भी कंदोदक बरसाता है. सुपार्श प्रभु का सतिया जब भी सत्य का पाठ पढ़ाता है. चंद प्रभु का अर्ध चंद्र तब मस्तक पर खिल जाता है। चंद्र प्रभु का अर्ध चंद्र तब मस्तक पर खिल जाता है। जैन धर्म की जय बोलो, सत्य कर्म की जय बोलो। कल्प बनाता है। श्री अंशनाथ का गेंडा जब दरिया से बाहर आता है, वासु पूज्य का भैंसा उसको पल में राह विमलनाथ का है। अनंतनाथ का से ही तब तब भाग भाग कर काम करे। धर्मनाथ का वज्र दंड जब दुष्टों पर चल जाता है। शांतिनाथ का हिरण भी आकर शांति छवि बरसाता है। शांतिनाथ का हिरण भी आकर शांति छवि बरसाता है। जैन धर्म की, सत्य कर्म की, आदिनाथ से वर्धमान तक तीर्थंकर की। कुंथुनाथ का बकरा जब प्रभु के चरणों में आता है। अरहनाथ की मछली को वो जल में ही पा जाता है। अरहनाथ की मछली को वो जल में ही पा जाता है। मल्लीनाथ का कलशा जब भी गंधोदक बरसाता है। मुनि सुब्रत का कछुआ भी फिर धीरे धीरे आता है। मुनि सुब्रत का कछुआ भी फिर धीरे धीरे आता है। नमीनाथ का नील कमल जब कीचड़ में खिल जाता है। नेमिनाथ का शंख बजे तो मन सुख में हो जाता है। नेमिनाथ का शंख बजे तो मन सुख में हो जाता है। पार्श्वनाथ का सर्प विशाला भी अमृत हो जाता है। पार्श्वनाथ का सर्प विशाला भी अमृत हो जाता है। वर्धमान का सिंह गाय संग पानी पीने आता है। वर्धमान का सिंह गाय संग पानी पीने आता है। जैन धर्म की, सत्य कर्म की, आदिनाथ से वर्धमान तक तीर्थंकर की जय बोलो। बोले 24 तीर्थंकर भगवान की
जय। Okay, so kind of fun video. I would not say it is very spiritually, enticing kind of video, but surely a very populist kind of thing, right? So as I said, Dr. Kumar Biswas is one of the most popular, I would say the most popular Hindi poet of the times, and he is very popular in the media, very active on social media and whatnot, right? And very brilliant, of course. His poetry is and his thought process is influencing a lot many folks in India. So having said that, right, during some Kavi Sammelan, which is like a poetry function, he might have recited this poem, and that's what got picked up and used in this video. All in all, like, I think for us the takeaway is introduction, right? It's a good video of 4 minutes or video to introduce everyone with the symbols associated with Tirthankar Bhagwan. Now, Dr. Kumar Biswas is not a Jain guy, right? He is a Hindu by birth, and he's a practicing Hindu. He's a very proud Hindu, Sanatani, I should say, right? But still, like, we should be thankful to him that he used the symbolism from Jain tradition and coined a poem out of it, which is what we went through. Now, remember fact, important, where does the symbol of Bhagwan exist? It exists on the toe of the right foot. That's what is most important thing. And second thing, make a conscious effort, maybe read a book to memorize these 24 symbols. Okay? Okay. Now, there is one more thing. So this, as I mentioned, this symbol is one of the 1008 symbol the baby boy Tirthankar is born with. The boy who is destined to be a Tirthankar, to attain Kevalya Gyan and Moksha, is born with. However, this is only one of the Atishay. Now, there are other Atishays that happen at different time in their life. That's what we'll learn about later. Next topic that we want to cover is Pratiharya. Okay. Pratiharya are those symbols or those things or gatekeepers that exist around a Tirthankar Bhagwan, a Arihant Bhagwan, after they have attained Kevalya Gyan. So if the question is, when do the Pratiharya show up with a Tirthankar, they show up after the Kevalya Gyan. That is after the Gyan Kalyanak. Remember, there are 5 Kalyanaks in life of a Tirthankar, correct? Garbh Kalyanak, Janma Kalyanak, Diksha Kalyanak, Gyan Kalyanak, and then the last one is your Moksha Kalyanak. Sometimes we say Garbh Kalyanak, Janma Kalyanak, Diksha Kalyanak at times is also referred to as Tap Kalyanak, and then you have the Gyan Kalyanak, which is when they attain Kevalya Gyan, right? And Moksha Kalyanak is when they leave this body and their soul attains the Siddhavastha. So the Arihants of the current times actually are now Siddh, because they have all departed their humanly existence and their soul is now in the Siddhashila or in the Mokshagati. However, when they were in the Arihant, when do we call them Arihant? When they attain Kevalya Gyan. Only after a particular Muni, has attained Kevalya Gyan with their tap and with their deep meditation is when we consider them as Arihant Bhagwan. And the most important thing that has to happen there is they have to attain Kevalya Gyan. So what happens is, when Kevalya Gyan is attained by a Muni, a Dikshit Muni, we start calling them Arihant, and these 8 Pratiharyas appear. They are kind of always surrounding them. 8 Pratiharya. Pratiharya literally means a gatekeeper, right? So think of these symbols as something that are magical symbols that surround Tirthankar Bhagwan once after they have attained the Arhant Avastha, the Arhant position. And that happens when their Kevalya Gyan happens, or in other words, their Gyan Kalyanak happens. Okay, na? So, ye 8 Pratya. Now, why are these important, right? Again, the iconography of Jains for Tirthankar Bhagwan involves 2 things which we already covered, right? One is that Shrivats at the center, right? And they are obviously in Dhyan Mudra, either in Padmasana or Kayotsarg. And then that symbol of birth, that's usually on the pedestal. Apart from that, when we go to a temple, you should also notice these 8 Pratiharya surrounding the idol of Bhagwan, right? And that is very important, right? Because these symbols these Pratiharya only depicted for Tirthankar Bhagwan, aka Arihant Bhagwan. है ना? So Arihant Bhagwan की मूर्ति के around ये 8 Pratiharya के और sometimes lesser than 8 are depicted, either in the stone carvings or in the sometimes we have put the what do they call paintings behind the Bhagwan's idol to depict them, right? So first thing first, what is Pratiharya? It is gatekeeper. The word for it is gatekeeper. Second, how many types of Pratihars are there? 8 Pratihari. Third, who is blessed with Pratiharis, or who has the 8 Pratihari? It is the Arihant Bhagwan who have the 8 Pratihari. I was reading a book preparing for this lecture, and this is one thing I read from the book, which says only he who is endowed with these Pratihari is called an Arihant. Yani ki Arihant Bhagwan is projected with these 8 pratihare. You will not find these 8 pratihare for the Samanya Kevalis. Neither you will find it for a Siddhavastha depiction of a Bhagwan. Only for the Arihant Avastha depiction for a Tirthankar Bhagwan, these 8 pratihars are shown. Make sense? Okay. Now let me play this video with this background. I think I have opened the Hindi video, so let me go to the English one. Here it is.
Jai Janin children! Today we are going to learn about Ashta Pratiharya. Ashta means 8. And before learning the meaning of Pratiharya, let's understand what is Pratihar. Pratihar means servant of.
Now, important thing, right? Since there are only 8 Pratiharya, I think it's very easy for you to remember 8 things, right? And then there is a small couplet that I took out from Shanti Part, a very most popular Shanti Part amongst the Digambars. Shanti Part is a part or a Visarjan part that we recite at the tail end of a puja. Once after a puja is done and Jaimala is done, to mark the completion of that exercise of that ritual, we recite a Shanti Part. है ना? उस शांति पाठ में एक there are many shanti parts. The one that's sort of most popular amongst Jains, there is this couplet which let me see, let me place it in the chat. Okay, I would like you to take this in, maybe copy paste it, and maybe use it to remember, to memorize the 8 pratiharya. Okay, it's a very poetic way of memorizing some concepts. Always remember, poems are not just poems for your entertainment. Sometimes poems are a projection upon learning, or it's a compressed way of carrying or transferring information. Okay. Okay. Before I do that, Mihika, your hand is raised. What's going on?
Can you also send the link for the poem for the Tirthankar symbols?
Sure. You will find it in your classroom, beta. You are looking for that one, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So in the Google Classroom, you will find it as well.
Oh, okay.
Okay. And because this couplet is not in the Google Classroom, that's why I'm placing it in the chat.
Okay.
I'll just recite it once. I have put it in the chat. It says, Divya Vitap Pahupan ki Varsha, Dundubi Asan, Vani Sarsa, Chhatra Chavar, Bhamandal Bhari, Ye Tuv Pratiharya Manahari. So basically, it's a couplet from that Shanti part, which is projecting upon the fact that you, Tirthankar Bhagwan, you, Shantinath Bhagwan, or you, generally Tirthankar Bhagwan, have these 8 pratiharya, which are very pleasing and, for me. And that's why I'm just remembering them. Okay. So that's what this small couplet means. And all it talks about is you will be able to relate each word from it to one of these symbols, the 8 symbols. Divya Vitap is basically reflection upon the tree, the Ashok tree. Pahupan ki Varsha is the showering of the flowers of a particular kind. Dundubi is the trumpet or the drum beating that happens around Bhagwan. Asan is his singhasan or his pedestal on which Bhagwan sit during Samosharan when he's giving a lecture. Vani is his voice, his projection, which is actually Omkar. So the Bhagwan do not speak after he has attained Kevalya Gyan. Versus his complete body reverberates or vibrates in Omkar Dhwani. The Omkar Dhwani is what we call as his Vani. And that Vani is interpreted by the Gandhars, the chief disciples of Bhagwan, into various languages. I mean, they write it or they translate it into a humanly consumable form, and then it is translated by these different type of devs into several languages, right? So depending on the type of beings that are there in the Samosharan, which ranges from not just humans that speak different languages, but also animals of different kinds, and Devs and mainly Devs, they all get to listen to Bhagwan's Vani in the language that they are uh, able to interpret, right? So that's what happens. But Vani, as generally, is the projection of the Vani of Bhagwan, which is nothing but the Omkar Dhwani that comes out of each and every uh, part or each and every pradesh of their body. Okay, so that's Vani. Vani Sarsa means pleasing voice, and Chhatra is the three canopies that are on top of Bhagwan's you know on Bhagwan. Generally, you will find them in your temple, at your temple also. You will always find these three canopies, and these three canopies actually depicts the three jewels of Jain philosophy, which is Samyak Darshan, Samyak Gyan, and Samyak Charitra, which is what the Bhagwan has now, right? Arihant Bhagwan, when we say they have Kevalya Gyan, what they have is these three things. They have Samyak Darshan, Samyak Gyan, and Samyak Charitra. है ना? So these Chhatra are actually depicting them, that. And then there is Chavar. Chavar is like those whisks that the nymphs and the celestial being carry around Bhagwan. There are 64 of these Chavars, or 64 of these whisks. And then the last one in this couplet order is Bhamandal Bhari. Bhamandal is, there is a halo behind Bhagwan because of his extreme penance, tap, and his extreme meditation. Bhagwan has now received the ultimate knowledge, and this halo is basically a reflection of that knowledge, right? Only the beings, it is said that everyone has a halo. Sarthak has a halo, Mehika has a halo, Arush has a halo, I have a halo, everyone have their halo, but the halo is reflecting of our capacity, our capabilities. Since Bhagwan has now achieved the ultimate knowledge, the Kevalya Gyan, the Samyak Gyan, the halo is actually reflective of that, and it's very powerful. It's very immense. In most of the Indian dharmic cultures, there is a projection of halo. Even I think even in Gita, during the, when Krishna was imparting the Gita knowledge to Arjun, he showed him his true form as per the Sanatan tradition. When that happened, his halo was so bright that it blinded all the common humans around. Only Arjun was able to see the true form of Krishna, right? So that's as per the Sanatan tradition, but only reason why I called it out is there again, there is a talk of halo. Most of the time when an Indian idol of a Bhagwan is shown, it is always shown with something at the back of their head, which is reflecting of their halo. So that's what we call as Bhamandal. Okay? So now let me play the video. So again, like the small version from that couplet from the Shanti part is Divya Vitap Pahupan ki Varsha Dundhubi Asan Vani Sarsa Chhatra Chamar Bhamandal Bhari Ye Tuv Pratiharya Manhari. These are your Pratiharyas, O Bhagwan, and they are very pleasing to me. Okay, so let's keep going.
Of Lord Tirthankars. Okay, so tell me, who are the servants of Lord Tirthankar? Devs, correct. So, the servant of Lord Tirthankar, which are Devs, are available at the service of Lord. And Pratiharya are the auspicious elements that are generated to serve Lord when Keval Gyan is attained by Lord Tirthankars. There are...
Right, so important, right? Where do we show? When do these symbols or these Pratihare or gatekeeper or servants, as it's being mentioned in this talk, when do they appear with Bhagwan? Once after they have attained Kevalya Gyan, and only once after they have attained Kevalya Gyan. That is after their Gyan Kalyana. Okay, na?
There are 8 Pratiharyas. Let's learn them one by one. First one, Ashoka tree. The Ashoka tree is a symbol of happiness and peace. It is a beautiful tree that destroys sadness. By coming under its shade, all our sorrows go away. It is a tree under which the Tirthankar Bhagwan attained absolute knowledge. which is Keval Gyan. Next one, 3 Chatras.
Okay, one thing, Ashok tree, it's in the current culture, there is a tree by name Ashok tree in India. You will always find it mainly in the neighborhoods because it's a very ornamental tree. Mostly it's like a conical tree. Sometimes there is one species of it which is like more dense and rounded. That's what people call as Ashok tree. However, important fact is like you have a special symbol for each Tirthankar Bhagwan. Similarly, each Tirthankar Bhagwan attained their Kevalya Gyan under a special tree. Okay, so when we say Ashok tree, it's not just that Ashok tree or the tree that is currently named as Ashok, but all the trees under which Bhagwan attained Kevalya Gyan. Hai na? So it's not one. Some actually attained under in mango tree, other Kevali Bhagwan attained Kevalya Gyan under Ashok tree, which is what it is. Some attained it under a, there are different trees of the kind under which they attained Kevalya Gyan. So when we say Ashok tree, it's a class of tree. We are not saying Ashok tree as in it is always under Ashok. Okay.
3 Chatras are glowing white like the glow of a full moon and are decorated with laces of fine pearls. The Chatras are umbrella-like structures found above the heads of all Tirthankar Bhagwan and are arranged in ascending order of their diameter. I'm really very sure that you must have seen the Chatras whenever you had gone to temple, right? These magnificent 3 Chatra represent the supremacy of Jinendra Bhagwan in the 3 loks. Next one, throne. The throne of Tirthankars is built with crystal stone and adorned with a group of fine gems. It's found near the Ashoka tree. The throne is considered as a symbol of excellence. It symbolizes the superior qualities of Tirthankar Bhagwan. Next one,
so why is the Singhasan or throne important, right? In Indian dharmic culture, whenever we have to express our reverence for a person or who is better than us, from whom we seek something, we place them on a pedestal or we place them on a throne. That throne is Singhasan. Even in Indian stories, in generally culture, when India was ruled by kings, kings were always placed on this special chair called Singhasan. That was expression of their assertion and power. Nobody else could dare to sit on that Singhasan. Reason, same thing, right? It was a marker of their power, their potential to be the ultimate giver for a society, right? You go begging for something, you go to them for justice and they impart justice to you, right? So basically, think of it as something that creates a gradient. And always remember, knowledge and all the fluid flow from higher gradient to a lower gradient, right? You cannot, if you have a teacher, you cannot think of a teacher who's sitting on the ground and you are sitting on the chair, right? Because if you do that, you may not get the knowledge. Because remember, knowledge always flows from higher to lower gradient. Same is the case with heat. Same is the case with any kind of liquid or fluid. There has to be a gradient. And in a way, Singhasan is expression of that gradient. In case of Tirthankar Bhagwan, who is the ultimate giver of knowledge and direction, and we are seeking direction from him. We are seeking guidance from him. And that's why we project a Tirthankar Bhagwan on a Singhasan. It's an expression of his immense power and potential and his, for that matter, his merit, right? Because he didn't get it just by birth. He has done extreme tap and contemplations and meditation to achieve that position, right? And that's what a Singhasan depicts. It is a symbol of his excellence, his merit. Okay? Okay, let's keep moving.
Bhamandal. Bhamandal is the radiance of God's aura. The land of Samavcharan is illuminated with the bright and pleasant light radiating from the body of Jinendra Bhagwan. This light is so bright that it outshines not just the sun, but the glow of millions of devs from the heaven.
Right? So again, word Bhamandal is the word in our text. The English translation of it is either radiance or halo, right? Halo is what I showed. By the way, so what is halo reflecting on? Halo is reflecting upon the aura. We all have an aura, and this aura is what makes you, you know, attract uh, uh, other people to you, right? Some people have a very refined aura, and that kind of that's why they gain a lot of attention. And then there are other people who are just like, okay, their aura is broken, so they don't get that much of attention. So every person has an aura, but out of all those people, Tirthankar Bhagwan has the highest potential aura, which is what is depicted by a bhamandal or a halo. And the way poetically it is expressed here is that halo is so bright, that radiance is so bright that it outshines many suns. If a person of no potential reaches there, they will not be able to see Bhagwan's face because of that aura. So that's what it is about. Did we lose one of you? Yeah, I think.
Can you really imagine?
Somebody go away. Okay, I have another. Okay, I need to. Okay, no worries. Okay, beta. So somebody had to go for another class, but that's okay.
How bright is the light? It outshines the light from the sun. Right. Next one, divine sound. The divine sound coming out of Tirthankar Bhagwan's mouth at the sum of Sharan, emulating the sound of the clouds, is called Divya Dhvani.
Okay, so one correction there. The sound does not come out of his mouth. I don't know why they said it in the video. It's incorrect, right? Bhagwan do not utter any word after they have attained some Kevalya Gyan. The Vani is the Vani that comes out of every particle, every pradesh of their body. And that Vani is the Omkar Dhvani. Okay, so that's what we call as the Divya Dhvani. Okay? And it is independent of all language. Think of it. People say, hey, how do you think? What is the language in which you think? You actually think in something called as a meta language. All human beings, we think we are thinking in English or Hindi or whatever. It's not the case. It has been proven scientifically that we all think in a meta language. Even our dreams are not in a particular language. They change, they transform. They are actually in a meta language. So similarly, the Vani, the Omkar Dhvani that is coming out of all the particles of Bhagwan's body, they are independent of languages. There is no language associated with it, right? Because language is a constrained thing. It is limited to your mouth, right? Or your vocal cords, the words that you utter, the pronunciations that you do and whatnot. That's not the case with Divya Dhvani, the Dhvani of Bhagwan. Bhagwan's Vani is free of languages. If Sarthak and Mihika go there, and if let's say they are not aware of Hindi, they would have understood Bhagwan's Vani in English. If somebody who's a French person would have ended up in a Samosharan, they would have received Bhagwan's Vani in French. And like Hindi and Marathi and Ardhmagdi and Prakrit and Sanskrit, whichever is the case. And the languages of each and every animal that was present out there. Okay. So one correction, which is wrongly stated in this video, the Vani does not come out of the mouth. Okay.
It has the power to destroy the darkness of all worldly attachments. It is so magical that everyone listening to it can clearly understand it. It is in.
Sarthak, you have a question?
No, I don't. Absolutely.
Okay.
Independent of languages. It's like automatic live translation for everyone present there. Next one, 64 chamar. 64 chamars are being waved by devs from heaven on both sides of Tirthankar Bhagwan. The threads of chamars are so pure and so bright that it radiates light. Its rod is also studded with precious gems. 64 chamas signifies the unique dominion of Bhagwan. I'm also sure about chamas that you must have seen them in the temple, right? Next one, Pushpavrishti. Pushpavrishti or showers of flowers over Bhagwan is considered as a symbol of joy and happiness. The fragrance of the flowers reflects the fragrance of the virtues possessed by the Tirthankars, whose scent is spread all around. The flowers of the Kalpa tree like Santanak, Mandar, Sundar Meru, Suparijat, etc. are showered by the Devs. It seems as if the divine qualities of God are being transmitted.
Okay. One important fact about flowers or showering of flowers or pushpavrasti, the kind of flowers that are showered by the celestial beings, the devs, the nymphs, is of is from kalpavraksh. These are no ordinary flowers, that can rot in time. Right? All flowers, once they are picked, even when they are on the tree, obviously when they are picked off the tree, they rot in time, right? In few hours they will go bad. They will lose their smell. They will actually, as they say in common language, die. They have already died, are dead once they are plucked off the tree. Correct? They are no longer part of a tree, so they are dead in that sense. However, the flowers that we are talking about here that are showered upon Bhagwan Tirthankar are actually um, flowers that stay same blooming always, because they are not coming out of a tree. They are rather flowers of a special type of kalpvraksh as mentioned here. So Santanak, Mandar, Sundar Meru and Suparijat. I think there is a question around it, so it's very important for you to remember these names. Okay, these are the flowers that are these are actually made up of, they are precious flowers. They are made up of jewels. That's how it is projected in our agam. They are not no ordinary flowers that we see around us in our neighborhoods. Okay, so let's keep going.
And last one, Dundubinad. Dundubi is a drum-like instrument and its sound is called Dundubinad. Devs from heaven play this dundubi and its sound resonates in all directions. This sound is very pleasant but deep at the same time, as if it informs all the creatures about Bhagwan's Samosharan and motivates them to attend it. So
Dundubinad is the projection upon one of the pratihari, which is about sound, right? I mean, it's like, hey, you would have seen, right, in plays and in the how do we put it, the stories, right, that are now made up in drama in India and beyond, where they say, hey, whenever a king is walking, they will show that there are people in front of him announcing his arrival, right? Same is the case in Britain, right? They show queen, when queen or king arrive, they first call upon him, his arrival, and seek the attention of the audience. You know? That's what Dundubi Nad is projecting upon, right? For Bhagwan, this Dundubi Nad is done by the Devs. And it's not just a drum, but drum and other orchestra instrument, in particular, trumpets are shown in our iconography in temples, right? You will see these Devs either playing drums or these trumpets, big dundubis, big those wind instruments to project upon the dundubi nad. And basically, these are the sounds that are resonated in all the directions, announcing the arrival or presence of Bhagwan, of Tirthankar Bhagwan. Okay, so this is again to inform all creature that Bhagwan is here, his Samosharan is there. Come here and get blessed yourself, right? Because whoever has attained Samosharan at least once in their life are destined to attain moksha in one of their lives. We would have, I'm sure, attained Samosharan in the past. It's just that we were not paying attention. If we all would have paid attention, we would have attained moksha already. It's just that we were there but not there. Like sometimes we attend class and our attention is somewhere else, like on the game or the homework or the home assignment or the the things we will be doing tomorrow. Same is the case with with us, with people who attend Samosharan also. People who would have paid attention in Samosharan would have already attained moksha along with or after Tirthankar Bhagwan. है ना? So, anyways, so this is about the eighth Pratiharya, which is Dundubi Nad. है ना? So I would challenge you to memorize that couplet I have given you, because that will give you uh, the memory of the eight Pratihari. And next time, whenever you are at the temple and around Bhagwan's idol, Arihant Bhagwan's idol, look for these Pratihari. You may not find all eight, but I'm sure there will be a depiction of a few of them. Definitely, there is a depiction of Singhasan. Definitely, there is a depiction of halo. Definitely, there is a depiction of the canopies, the parasol, the chhatra. Sometimes the chawars also depicted, and then of course the Pushpa Vrasti and Dundubi Nad. Vani is the one which is like doesn't have a depiction of its own, right? How would you depict voice? है ना? So probably out of the all the eight Pratihari, probably depicting Vani is the most impractical. Other than that, you will always find one or more symbols out there. Even in the old idols that are found around, right? These buried idols, and they take them out. I have seen those pictures, and you'll always find, irrespective of which part of country they have been found, whether in Tamil Nadu or up north in Uttar Pradesh, you will always have these one of these eight Pratihari depicted with Bhagwan's idol. है ना? So, anyways, so let's complete this video.
So, we are done with the 8 Pratiharyas. Let's revise them. First one, Ashoka tree. Second one, 3 Chhatras. Third one, throne. Fourth one, Bhamandal. Fifth one, divine sound. Next, Chausat Chamar. Then Pushpavrishti. And then finally, Dundubinad. Jai Jinendra.
Jai Jinan bachcho. Okay, so this is what I wanted to cover today. Do you have any questions? Quite simple, right? Easy, simple concept. It's just that, you spend more time with it. It will go in your memory, in your long-term memory as well, right? That's what you need, so that you can first remember it when you are doing your darshan of Bhagwan. And second, most importantly, you can pass it down to our oncoming generations, right? For those purposes, you should know these facts by heart, right? So that you can transfer it down to the next generation and so. Okay. With that said, if there are questions, let's have a conversation around those questions. Otherwise, we'll do the part and end the session. Okay. No questions, Mika, Sarthak? Okay, no worries. Let's do the part and end the session. Javani ke gyan se sujhe lokalo, Devani mastak dharu, sada dehu dho. He jinwani bharti ma to he japu din ren, jo teri sarana gaye ma, so paave sukh chain. Jai Jinendra bachcho, and Uttam Shama to you. I seek forgiveness from you if I have, done anything, if I've said something that would have hurt your feelings. For that, I seek Uttam Shama Michhami Dukram. Jai Jinendra.
I have a question.
Yes,
What is
beta.
what is the part called that we just said?
That you mean the part we just recited?
Yeah.
It's what is it called? Ishna, what is it called? Javani ke gyan? Jinwani Stuti. Yeah, I was about to say Visarjan part, and it's not Visarjan. It's Jinwani Stuti. It's a Stuti for Jinwani, through which we have gaining this knowledge, right? So we are expressing our humility, our thankfulness to the Jinwani, which has blessed us with this knowledge.
Okay.
Make sense?
Yeah. Thank you.
Jai Jinan, beta. Great question.
Jai Jinan. No.